Trust yourself, trust what you're thinking, trust what you're doing, and most importantly, trust what you're feeling, because generally speaking, spirit talks to you via emotions and feelings, because that's when we're so raw. And so spirit and your spirit team will guide you through no matter what.
Welcome to Cards and Constellations with Bonnie Morris and Dawn Rumor Rivera from Sonoran Mystic Tarot. Here, we blend astrology and tarot to guide you through the twists and turns for the week ahead. Don't forget to hit subscribe and share. Let's dive into your cosmic journey together.
Hello. The moon this week on Friday, the 1st, August 1st, we have the first quarter in Scorpio at 27 degrees, 33 minutes. Now remember, during the first quarter, we do all the work on whatever project you've chosen. And to find that out, we step back and find the new moon in Scorpio. That occurred on November 1st, 2024 at 9 degrees, 34 minutes of Scorpio. So check, where do you write your intentions down? I hope you did. That will tell you what you're working on right now. Then we have to move forward and find the full moon in Scorpio. That occurs on May 1st of 2026 at 11 degrees, 20 minutes of Scorpio. That's when everything becomes lit up. You can see the whole project, and if it's not exactly what you want, you tweak it. And then we pivot and start to turn away. We have to look for the last quarter moon now in Scorpio. It happens on January 29th, 2027 at 9 degrees, 7 minutes of Scorpio. And that's where we celebrate our success and turn away, allow the project to move on by itself, and we wait for another new moon. Now, in the void, of course, we're going to take a look on July 28th. The void, of course, begins at 5:56 p.m., and that is Mountain Standard Time, Phoenix time, at 27 degrees, 32 minutes of Virgo. It ends that day at 10:43 p.m., and that's when it enters into the sign of Libra. Then again on the 29th at 8:58 p.m., the void begins at 11 degrees of Libra. It ends on the 31st. Now, remember that. That's a long void, okay? It ends on the 31st at 10:25 a.m., and that's when it enters into Scorpio. I'll pause here and remind you, during a void, you never start a project because it likely will have to be redone. So unless you like practice, be careful. Finish up projects, fold the laundry, do the dishes, whatever it is that you can do, but don't start anything new. Okay, so we still have 5 planets in retrograde. But first, let's go to August 2nd. We have the last void at 6:06 p.m., 27 degrees, 33 minutes of Scorpio. It ends that night at 11 p.m. when it enters into Sagittarius. Again, we still have 5 planets in retrograde. Pluto's in Aquarius. Both Saturn and Neptune are still dancing in Aries and Pisces, and Mercury in Leo. Now, we also just started with Chiron in retrograde in the sign of Aries.
So, Miss Bonnie, if I hear right, it sounds like this week, no matter what sign you have, it's going to be a complicated week. Something's happening. Can you help me understand that?
Sure. This week, we start out the week, I think it starts on Tuesday. We see a kite formation. Now, a kite formation is a specific pattern formed by a grand trine, a big triangle, 3 planets. It's harmonious, it's good energy, but there's also an opposition. The point of the head of the kite to the tail, that's a tug of war. That's where things get sticky. The opposition is also linked to the other 2 planets in the grand trine. So it creates this kite shape when you look at the chart. At the end of the week, it gets even more complicated. We have 2 kites, and they're pulling us in 2 different directions.
I don't want it. I don't want it.
There's
And then you
also,
have these long voids that have been
yeah,
growing longer and longer. And you, like you said before, about 2 weeks ago, we had one of the longest voids you've seen. And this week, once
it's
again,
even
we have an exceptionally long void.
Yep, absolutely. And of course, there are also a lot of squares. Now, squares in a chart means that you have to act on something. If you don't, things are going to get real sticky. So, yeah, it is a real complicated week for everyone.
Oh my gosh. Then I guess we better get into the individual reading and see how this coordinates with the next sign up.
Okay, Taurus, your planet is Venus, and it's in a square with the moon. A square is a challenging aspect between two planets that are 90 degrees apart. It creates tension and conflict as the planets' energies clash. They compete for expression. Squares are considered hard aspects, but they represent opportunities for growth and development. They do force you to confront or overcome something. It can suggest some inner confusion about how to meet your emotional needs or express affection. You may have longed for love for quite a while, but you second guess your own feelings and maybe even struggle with romantic choices. The result of all of that, you might find yourself in competitive or unbalanced relationships. Using self-love and self-care, you may learn what truly brings you emotional fulfillment and how to ask for it. Venus is also in a square with Saturn, bringing early lessons around emotional boundaries and trust. I would imagine you approach love with caution, and that would be influenced by past disappointments or, of course, fear of rejection. You may prioritize security over emotional expression. Again, working with self-care, time, and healing, you can learn to soften those defenses and open up to a more joyful and reciprocal connection. And Venus is also in a square with Neptune. This creates a longing for the perfect love that can be confusing. Or you might idealize a relationship dynamics. You may be highly imaginative, sensitive, and creative, but you might need to stay mindful of distinguishing fantasy from reality. When it comes to matters of the heart, you find deep emotional expression through creativity and gentle self-awareness. It can bring great beauty and empathy. Now, you'll notice on the 29th, we see a kite in the chart pointing at Saturn. Kites always have several things. One of them is a grand trine. It is a triangle between three different planets. Another one is a T-square or a T-cross, very visible on the 31st, and I highlighted it. There's also two sextiles. The following day, I've highlighted those as well. If we look even further down the road at the end of the week, on August 3rd, you will notice two separate kites. The one we've already spoken of, and a new one which is pointing directly at Pluto with Mercury at the tail. Now, Mercury and Pluto are both in retrograde. Okay, so this is an opposition between thoughts and communication and transformation and change. That means that your thoughts and communication styles are going to need some practice and will change. Dawn, what do you have in tarot for Taurus?
Well, thank you, Ms. Bonnie. Let's take a look at the tarot for the week for Taurus and see if it stirs up the same kind of passions as did the astrology. Oh my goodness, let's see what we got here. There we go. We got a jumper out there. Oh my goodness, we have a 7 of swords. 7 of swords. Don't trust nobody. Don't need none. Don't get none. Don't trust none. This is not a week to trust people, unfortunately. This is a week where you go into yourself. Have confidence in yourself, confidence in what you're doing, and confidence enough to say, yeah, no, or I don't know. Make sure that you're in control. Make sure that you're not surrendering your authority. Make sure you're not surrendering your choices and those kind of things, because this is a complicated week. And when those complications come along on you, you don't want them to be compounded because you felt like you weren't in control. When you concede control to someone else, yeah, sometimes it's easier because you can blame somebody else, but when it all falls apart, ultimately you pay the price. So with this week, again, make sure you trust yourself. Trust yourself, trust what you're thinking, trust what you're doing, and most importantly, trust what you're feeling, because generally speaking, spirit talks to you via emotions and feelings, because that's when we're so raw. And so spirit and your spirit team will guide you through no matter what. That's who you trust, and not necessarily everybody else. I'm not saying don't trust everybody, but yeah, I am saying that this week. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I just said it. The next thing I hear is a queen, and this is the Queen of Pentacles. Queen of Pentacles is saying, if you have the patience to, again, trust only yourself and trust what you're feeling and what you're receiving, then you're going to get through this fine, because that's the abundance card. So you're going to be okay. Again, trusting yourself, letting yourself be responsible, letting yourself be the power within, shall we say, and listening to spirit and following what spirit's saying you. It's going to be a long week because this is an 8 of Cups. So the 8 of Cups is like, it's a journey. So this is going to seem like 8 days instead of 7. This is going to seem like you're getting nowhere, but you're just kind of trudging along. But you know what? You're still moving forward. Remember, even slow motion is still motion. And the last thing you want to do is not move. You don't want to get stuck in the old kind of, in the mud. So keep moving forward, keep pressing forward. And then ultimately, it's interesting, by the week's end, you're going to be given an option. There's going to be a choice. And if I were you, I would go with what makes logical sense for the weekend. Okay. So again, the choice is coming for the weekend. Maybe it's something to do. Maybe, hey, we're going to go to a concert, you're going to go to a play, or go to dinner, or go out, whatever. This is, again, a trying time. So be careful with what you're choosing. And this time, don't go with emotions. It's very clear. This is saying don't go with emotions as much as go with reason and logic. If you feel that you made a commitment to somebody and you can't break it, then go through with it. If you feel, and again, you're like, oh, I don't really want to go, but I have to go, because again, that's reasonable and logical. If it's a financial situation, you're like, I can't afford it this week. Don't afford it this week. Listen to the logic and the reason. Don't say, oh, I just still want to go, so I'll just pay later. Again, that's emotions. We're not doing the emotional thing. So when the weekend comes and when options and choices are made, make sure that we're doing them based on reason, logic, and empirical data. And let's get rid of the emotions, and let's get rid of the other things that can sweep us into trouble, especially when the rest of the week is problematic. Okay. And with that said, one more card, and that is the overall energy of your environment this week. And your environment this week is a playful one. It's an energy of mischief, of oh, they said this and then it was this, oh, and this and this and this. So the universe is playing with you, and it's not in a good way. So make sure that, again, you put on your little shield and you're like, you know what, I've got this, I can handle this, and then push back when you have to, but stand strong all throughout the week. You'll be fine. You got this, because you are Taurus the bull, and I'll be damned if you aren't hard-headed. We both know that. Well, Miss Bonnie, what do you think about that?
I think it fits perfectly, just like we've already talked about. Triggers are important. You have to know your hot spots so that you are in control. Don't let somebody push your buttons and then explode. This week is really important to stay in control.
Yeah, and when you have the energy of Taurus, that very domineering energy, and that take control energy, it's not easy to see that anyway. So Taurus, be in your energy this week. This is a week where you don't need to try to do something that's not comfortable to you, because you do like to just kind of push things through. So in this week, maybe it's a good thing to be a Taurus. I don't know. But I do know this, Miss Bonnie, that you have this secret to helping us grow our channel and also helping people find us easier. How might you tell folks to do that?
Well, down below on the right lower corner is a subscribe button. Hit that. And whatever channel you're on, then make sure you've set that little bell, and we'll send you a message anytime we post a video or if we go live. Now, if you're on my channel, hop over to Sonoran Mystic Tarot and do the exact same thing. Hit subscribe You might even hit the share button and push us out to somebody else. You never know who needs to hear these messages. And don't forget to go to our new channel, Cards and Constellations. Please hit the subscribe. Help us grow that channel. That's the one you want to share out.
Absolutely. And hit the like buttons. We take those as well. And should you want to leave a comment, should you be compelled to leave a comment, or even just want to say, hey guys, we appreciate that, please do so too. We do respond to each and every comment. We're not one of those folks online that ignore them. We appreciate them. And if you'd like a private reading, reach out to Ms. Bonnie or myself, looking at the description left in the video, and you will find how you can reach us individually should you like a private reading. With that said, we're out of here. Love, light, and blessings from Miss Bonnie and her family, me and my family, to you and to yours. Until next week, have a great one.